Hi everyone, I'm Pat Cohan and welcome to the THSADA Director's Cut. In today's episode, we're sharing 5 highlights from the 2024 THSADA Fall Forum and key insights from the UIL Legislative Council recap. This year's Fall Forum was presented by Hometown Ticketing and brought together over 200 athletic professionals from across the state of Texas for a day filled with professional development, networking, and industry insights. Attendees absorbed extensive presentations on the Texas Way Sportsmanship Initiative, effective booster club management, using digital solutions to elevate events and connect communities, and so much more. We want to thank all the THSADA's partners for making this event possible. We want to thank those that attended and wanted you to know if you registered, you do now have access to the full-length sessions on THSADA's website. Also in this episode, we're going to share some of the key takeaways from the live UIL Legislative Council recap that was hosted earlier this month that featured Ray Zepeda from the UIL, Mike Bass from Alvin ISD, and Jennifer Frazier from McKinney ISD. The full-length video from this recap is available for free for anybody on THSADA's website, so you can check it out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy these short clips and have a great rest of your day.
How do you manage personal recruiting videographers, specifically at your big football games, but even at the sub-varsity games?
So we've made some major changes. At first, we used to have whoever wanted to take the pictures to go to the campus. The campus would keep a binder, keep the names and the personal information on those folks. And I thought about it and I said, I guarantee you, if I go to a campus today, that binder would not be located, right? And so I actually did it, and of course we couldn't find the binder. The principals had changed, administration had changed. So we changed the way we do it. Everybody has to go through VIPS, become a volunteer. That's step one, because through that process, they have to do a background check, they have to do those certain things. Step two is to come to the athletic office. We have a series of questions we ask them, and if they pass that test and we do background on them, from the video standpoint or from their website, if we do it from that standpoint and we say, okay, we think this person is okay, then we actually give them the pass out of our office. For anybody, school level, teacher, yearbook, those kind of things, the campus gives the pass. They send us a copy of the pass, and so we let our folks know at the games, this is the pass that we're using. So we've had to revamp the way we do it. We don't allow people who want to sell and do those kind of things, the videos or the personal people. We don't allow any of that.
We have not arrived at winning the battle of sportsmanship, but we are arriving. We're not there yet, but we are on our way. If we take it one layer closer to home, as a district, you have not arrived when you have signed up for the Texas Way, but you are arriving and you're moving in the right direction. One layer deeper. When you get your coaches to work through whether you showed it to them all together or you're encouraging them to show it to their coaching staff at the beginning of each sports season, which is what I encourage. When you get them to do that, you've not arrived, but you are arriving. When your athletes go through the program and they've watched it and they've done the workbooks, you've not arrived, but you are arriving. You are on the path. Do you see where I'm going with this? We are always headed towards the direction, always arriving, never arrived. Why? Because the moment that we think we've arrived with the Texas Way, with sportsmanship, with developing good character, the moment that we have arrived, we have shifted from believing that this is part of our mission and our calling to this is a checkbox that we've got to get done. And now that I have checked that box, I can put it away in the file cabinet and I don't have to deal with it again until it's time to re-up again. And while checking the box may help save face, it's not going to develop great character. And so the challenge for us is to continually be arriving, daily, weekly, and monthly. And the more frequently that we need to check in, the less we need to do. So when we talk about arriving on the Texas way daily, I don't need you to have a 3-hour meeting every day. I don't need you to watch all 50 minutes of the videos every day. I just need you to find one thing that you can do each day to move the needle and stay arriving. That might be on Thursdays reading the Texas Way Weekly. Send you an email every week of encouragements, of things you can do to help the Texas Way make a difference in your district. That might be the thing you did that day. It might be checking in with a coach and asking the intentional question, how are we doing on sportsmanship? What have you done this week to move the needle? How are you arriving? And just in asking the question, you might find out that they think they have arrived.
All right, it's good to see you guys. We're going to be real quick with this. Obviously, volleyball is going to be our first state championship where we're going to have multiple state champions in each division, right? And so we wanted to go through what district certification is going to look like real quickly. First of all, first thing that has to happen is you have to establish your top 4 teams. Okay, so if you have any tiebreakers or anything that needs to happen, you do those first, just as your district policies state in your handbooks. Okay, once you get through that and you get your top 4 teams and get those lined out, then you start looking at enrollment. And as a reminder, your 2 smallest schools will go into Division II bracket. Your 2 largest schools, regardless of order of finish, will go into your Division I bracket. So if you look up here, Green High School was your district champion. And then if you look at their enrollment, they had the largest enrollment. So them, along with Blue High School, will be your Division I schools. And you'll base the first seed and the second seed on their order of finish, 1 through 4, how they finished in order. Did you want to add anything to that? All right. So when you go to submit that in district certification, it's just like you do for 6A football if you're a DEC chair for 6A. You're going to enter those according to division, first seed, second seed, into each of those blanks there on the left. But then on the right, you'll see that there's a blank that has a drop-down menu, and you're going to select 1 through 4, and that's where you're going to put their order of finish for the district. Okay, and there's multiple reasons why we need that.
When I first started at Veterans Memorial High School, I was working with a basketball coach, and she came in, and she's a very successful basketball coach. And hey, did you see that article on the basketball team? I said, sure, I sure did. I said, I want you to have a seat. I want you to know that you said I 32 times. When I pointed it out in the article, she didn't even know. And it's not her fault. But when you say I that many times, it's really we and our, and that's the perception that's going out there. Be sure to speak clearly, maintain eye contact, and be insightful. It can be intimidating when you're sitting in front of a TV camera and you've never done it before, right? You're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to be on TV. My mom's going to see this or my students are going to see this. And you're just scared to death. And it takes time to get used to that. Do not criticize officials, coaches, or opponents, or say things that are off the record. Off the record is no such thing. There is no such thing. And in this day of building relationships, I'm not trying to be negative about that particular aspect of it, but please make sure, and we tell our coaches to make sure we're thinking about what we're saying, what we're putting out there, and tasting their words before they come out. Do not answer questions that you do not know the answer to. Just because they're asking a question, it's okay to say, can you clarify that? Or, I don't know the answer to that, but we certainly can find the right personnel to get you the answer. Highlight teammates, coaches, and others who are important to your success. Turn bad into positive. One of the things that I was taught a long time ago, and I'll probably say it all the time, is we were either fortunate enough to win today or we were just not fortunate enough to win today. And that's just it. We didn't work hard enough or we weren't fortunate. It comes down to our good fortune. Even though we know it's not our good fortune, okay, maybe we didn't play as well. We're not going to put that into the public.
And I always tell our coaches, if you're not doing a silent auction at the end of your banquet, whatever it is, when you can tug on those senior moms' heartstrings and they just start writing checks because, they're emotional, then you're missing out on some money. So we steer them away from raffles and want them to go more of the direction of a silent auction. Social media, this is our favorite. We try to really emphasize that accounts or websites run by booster clubs must clearly state that it is a booster club run account. So that's websites, X, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. We want it very clearly defined that it is a Booster Club account. And then we give them just a sample disclaimer that they can use. It's on their websites, social media accounts, things like that.
But I told him that I think more consequently for athletic directors and athletic participation were some proposals that came through the policy committee. So in closing, I'm going to run through those real quickly and review what I think the impact is for athletic directors, and then turn this back over to Patrick. Most consequentially, I think, was an amendment to Section 443, which indicates that moving forward, that all students would require a PAPF as far as page 1 completion, would need to have page 1 fully completed and on file prior to participation on any level of play. And so you guys know that in previously the Constitution indicated that coaches had to have an approved PAPF for students to participate on the varsity level. Moving forward, if approved by the Commissioner of Education, this would become effective on 8/1 of 2025, and it would require that you need to have page 1 fully completed and in the system, in the portal, in order for that student to participate on the freshman level, on the JV level, on any level. And so it was felt like that this was very important. This comes from feedback of many athletic directors across the state that felt that this was needed to increase transparency and to allow everyone in the DEC to fully understand the amount of movement in and out of a campus. And so, again, think that this would be very consequential for possibly next school year.
And it's exciting times here in the great state of Texas for athletics. And I was at the Legislative Council meeting also years ago. My mentor, Sandra Howell, said, you need to start going to these meetings. And so I've been going to these for several years. And it's exciting for me to see superintendents that truly are passionate about all, not only for athletics, but for music and policy and the academics. I mean, they come up there and give their time. And we know that we have great leaders serving us. And so that's the great mark of leadership, is that they serve others. So exciting times for the great state of Texas with our state executive committee. But the great thing is that the good news to share is that our official numbers are up. At one point after COVID, we were over 47% shortage in officials across the great state of Texas. And folks, that's huge.
As athletic directors, we need to walk away with legislative council with a to-do list. What are things that we can start doing immediately? I think the number one important thing that you heard Ray talk about is if you are already not doing PAPS on your freshman group, you need to be doing those. Don't wait until August 1st to start. Let's start with our spring sports. Let's start getting that done now. The whole purpose of doing that is, again, like what he talked about, is to capture data so that they can have, the foundation is laid to capture the data of PAPFs that are moving or that are coming into the different programs. So I would say first and foremost, let's walk out. Let's all commit to doing that right now. Let's start, emailing our coaches in the spring and start getting that done immediately. And then I would say I'm going to challenge myself as well too. We love to collect that data here in McKinney ISD. I think it's really important. I'm going to start collecting data just individually on my programs and just how many PAPFs are coming in each of the programs, and just so that I can be educated before. I think it's really important that we understand what's happening within the network of our own district before the UIL picks up the phone and calls and says, hey, FYI, we see a percentage of PAPS coming through. We need to know what's going on in our own school. So that's something that I'm going to do. And I think that will help us get, hopefully will help Ray and the UIL kind of, accomplish some of the tasks that they want to get done as far as tracking, moving for athletic purposes. And then finally, I would just say, as a DEC chair, I am challenged again to make sure that I am going into all of our hearings, that I am taking everything serious and making sure that we are doing just a very thorough job. So again, that consistency matters, and just making sure, again, athletic directors have a system in place. If a coach is going to check the box on number 6, they should be calling you. They should be talking you through that, making sure that you understand what's happening, and just so that, again, there's a preparedness so that everybody can be successful at the local level all the way up to the UIL.
Not about right action, if we're not about transparency, if we're not about consistency, as Jennifer mentioned, if we're not about right action and people doing their part, it impacts competitive equity and fairness for kids. So that's what's at stake here. And so, again, I think it's important that everybody acts in a transparent manner with great consistency, doing their part. We can't have one standard for everybody else and a different standard for ourselves. We need to hold ourselves to high account when it comes to following the rules and adjudicating them. I think this also speaks to the power of collaboration. You know, all of these rules, again, didn't come out of nowhere. They came through power of suggestion and collaboration. And then I would also end and just say that, hey, this is a beginning, and we're going to need to hear more from our organizations, from the individuals impacted to inform next steps. And so I hope that this indicates that the UIL is listening to the concerns out there and willing to take action when there's a groundswell of concern. And again, just so thankful for everybody that took some time to be on this call today.